What's up, y'all? It's your boy, eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I'm going to be covering UFC Vegas 14, Islam Makhachev versus Rafael dos Anjos, the whole card. I'm going to give you all my picks. And yeah, let's get to it. I do have the card a little disordered. Did my notes kind of wrong. I did it before the card was like finalized in terms of like which fight's going to be the co-main event. So if you hear some fights a little earlier than they should be, then I guess now you know why. But yeah, we start off, and this is one of them. Brian Barberena versus Daniel Rodriguez. Brian comes in 15-7. Fights out of Glendale, Arizona, age 31, height 6 foot, reach 72. Daniel, 13-1. Fights out of California, age 33, height 6'1". Daniel's most recent loss was to Victor Rene, which was a split decision, and he's coming off a win over Dwight Grant. Man, that was, I was shocked, man. I picked Dwight Grant to beat him. I thought Dwight was gonna get him, and then he came back. Like, man, he shocked me. I was surprised. A lot of big ups on his heart and his motivation, to keep fighting that day. Brian Barberena is another guy just like that. His most recent one was against Anthony Ivy, and his most recent loss was to Randy Brown. But man, Brian has fought some tough guys like Vicente Luque, Colby Covington, Leon Edwards. So he's been there. He's been there and done that. But I've just I guess I'm I guess I'm gonna be saying recency bias has got me. But man, Darren Rodriguez's performance against Dwight Grant made me a believer. I didn't know if he was legitimate. I know he had beat, I think, Team Means, and everyone was telling me like, oh, this kid's legitimate, and I was like, I don't know. And then after seeing that, I was like, man, I can't deny him any longer. So I think this is gonna be a war. I really do believe this. This is gonna be a war. I don't think someone's gonna get knocked out early. I think this goes probably Rodriguez third round TK. I think Rodriguez gets hurt early, and then I think Brian Barberena fades and Daniel gets him. I think that's how I'm gonna go with it. Next fight, Alex Morono versus Reese McKee. Alex comes in 17-6. Fights out of Spring, Texas, age 30, height 5'11", or reaches 72. Alex's most recent win was against Max Griffin, and his most recent loss was to Khaos Williams, where he just got destroyed, man. Khaos put it on him. But yeah, Reese McKee is 10-3. Fights at Northern Ireland, age 25, height 6'2", and reaches 78. His most recent one was against Khaos, and his most recent loss was to Kazmat Chimaev. This is such an interesting fight. I love this fight. I was kind of tossing and turning over this. I thought I was going to go with the vet and Alex, but even though Alex has fought some tough guys, I think he has the abilities, or I don't know if he has the abilities to take it to the ground. I think he likes to stand. But I think he has enough fights and experience to know that he should probably try to take this to the ground. Not that he can't compete with Reese McKee, but you look at the way Reese McKee fights guys and the way he knocks guys out. It's a similar way how Williams knocked Morono out. So I think McKee. I don't know what the odds are on some of the I guess Vegas or whatever, but I feel like McKee is the underdog because of the way he lost to Chimaev. But yeah, I'm gonna go McKee by second round KO. I think that's a good one. I'm gonna go with next one, Dontel Mayes versus Ruick Martinez. Don comes in 7-4, fights at Indiana, age 28, height 6'6", and a reach of 81. Hey man, I'm surprised. He's a tall guy. Martinez is 15-6-2. Fights out of Guam, age 34, height 5'10", and reach to 72. Don's most recent win was against Raquito Perales, and his most recent loss was to Rogero Nascimento. Martinez's most recent win was against Hideki Sekine, and his most recent loss was to Alexander Romanov. There's not much to say. They both did not look good in their last fights, so I can't really say anything. Martinez kind of got overwhelmed against Romanov, but I think Romanov is the real deal. By the way, this is pre, UFC Vegas 13. So if Romanov gets destroyed, hey, don't kill me on that. But I will say one thing. I think both of these guys aren't the best, but I just go Dontel Mays based on his size, based on his ability. I think he'll have the reach. Martinez is a smaller guy. He does have a good, decent overhand. I will say that he does. He does have a few knockouts on his record, but he's 34. He's right there. He doesn't look like in the best shape. I think Dontel should be the bigger and athletic guy, and I'm going Mayes by decision. I'm gonna go by decision. I just think they're heavyweights and they're not that great. Maybe we might get a KO. Mayes isn't a decision guy though. I will say that. So I could be wrong on that, but I just think their trashness will equal out and it'll give us a trashy decision. So that's what I think is gonna happen. Next fight, Ashley Yoder versus Miranda Granger. Ashley comes in 7-6, fights out of California, age 33, height 5'7", and reaches 66. Granger's 7-1, fights out of Washington State, age 28, and height 5'7", and reaches 68. Ashley's most recent one was against Siri Kanondo. I think that was like what? Nah, that was recent actually. That wasn't that too long ago. And her most recent loss was to Souza. Granger, her most recent win was against Hannah Goldley, and her most recent loss was to Amanda Lemos. This is a good fight. I like Ashley Yoder. I'm going to be honest. I really do like the girl, but I think she's been put on this card to lose. I think she's a good fighter. I thought she kind of got robbed against a Mackenzie Dern. I thought she beat Mackenzie Dern. And she had a split decision loss to Randa Markos. And I thought she did all right against Souza, but, I didn't finish the fight, so I can't really say that. I watched the first round, and I gave it to Yoder, so maybe she lost it too, so I don't know. But Granger just seems like she's on point, and she did have that slip-up against Lemos, but the way she grapples, I like the way she keeps her hands up. I like the way she strikes, and I like the way how she uses her striking combinations to lead to her wrestling. So I think she's gonna take this. I'm probably gonna go by decision because and I know I'm gonna go a lot by decision on this card. But the reason I'm going by decision is Ashley Yoder's ability is she's really good on the ground, man. She was on the ground against Mackenzie Dern, who's like I don't know how many time BJJ champion, but she was able to just stay there and stay composed. So I think within the distance is a good pick with this one.
Randa Markos versus Kakao Murata. Randa comes in 10-9-1. Fights out of Canada, age 35, height 5'4", reaches 63. Kakao is 11-1. Fights out of Japan, age 27, height 5'1", and reaches 62. Randa's most recent one was against Ashley Yoder, which was a split, and her most recent loss was to Mackenzie Dern. Kakao's most recent one was against Emily Ducati, and our most recent loss was to Rin Naki in 2016. Man, this girl's really good, man. Kakao is really, really good. She's a really good wrestler. She has a really deep freestyle wrestling background. I think she competed in junior championships for freestyle, and I don't know if she competed in the Olympics, but she has, like, you can find her in USA Wrestling stuff. Like, she's a legitimate girl. Randa, she's, I guess, in this position now where she's going to be fighting these prospects. She has some decent wins on her. She beat Carla Esparza. Who else? I think, that's the most that's her biggest win. But, I've just been seeing her lose too much lately. And she did, I will give her one thing. She had a really close fight against Carla Esparza. No, not Carla. Claudia Gadelia. I'll give her that. And I like Randa Markos, but and I will always appreciate her beating Carla Esparza after Carla was talking all that crap to her on the Ultimate, the Tough Show, right? She was talking all that crap to her, and she beat her by split, which was hilarious. But I think Kakao's wrestling is going to be too much for her, and I'm going to go Kakao via decision. I think she beats her. But, hey, Randa is a really good I keep messing her name up, but is really good. She has decent grappling, so maybe she could give her. It's a good test for Kakao, right? So I think it's a really good test, but I think Kakao should take this by decision. Next, Tony Gravely versus Geraldo de Freitas. Tony comes in 19-6, fights out of Coconut Creek, Florida. Age 29, height of 5'5", and a reach of 70. Geraldo's 12-5, fights out of Brazil. Age 29, height 5'7", and a reach of 72. Geraldo's coming off a loss to Chris Gutierrez. That was via split. That was a year ago. And Tony's coming off a loss to Brett Johns via submission a week ago. Both of you guys are pretty good. I think Tony is just a little more explosive. And I think he gets it done. What am I going with? Let me see. Edit my prediction. Let me see. I want to see what I'm going with. Yeah, I'm going Gravely by KO. I think that's how Gravely has to beat him. I think Geraldo's a good fighter. Nothing against him. I think he's a good technical guy. He has a really, I've seen one of his fights. He goes for takedowns. But he's a little sloppy in the stand-up, and I think that sloppiness he can get caught. And Tony's a really explosive guy, so I think he gets him in the first round. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, next fight.
Marquez versus Saparbeg Safarov. I think that's how you say the guy's name. I'm sorry, man. I'm butchering his name. Julian Marquez, 7-2, fights out of Las Vegas, age 30, height 6'2". Saparbeg's 9-3, fights out of Russia, age 34, height 6'1". Julian's most recent one was against Darren Stewart. His most recent loss was against Alessis DeChirico. I think that was via split decision. Saparbeg's most recent win was against Negorami. I think that's how you say this. I think I said the N-word, bro. Trying to say his last name. And his most recent loss was Rodolfo Vera. Saparbeg is he's more of a grappler. Julian, on the other hand, is he does really well against grapplers. You saw how he did well against what's his name, Phil Hayes. That guy, he's the one that just knocked out that one dude on UFC 240. Was it 254? UFC 254. He had that crazy knockout, and I think a lot of people were talking about, well, Julian fought that cat, Phil Hayes, in the Contender Series, took him out. So I think he was able to stuff a lot of those takedowns. I think Julian's going to be able to stuff the takedowns and just put it on him. I think I am going. Marquez by second round TKO. I think he hurts this guy bad. I did a video on this fight a while back. I might have went decision before, and then I found out about the Phil Hayes stuff, or the Phil. Is it Phil? No, it's Phil Haas or something like that. I think Julian's gonna hurt him. Next fight, Kay Hansen versus Cory McKenna. Kay is 7-3, fights out of California, height 5'2", reach to 63. Cory is 5-1, fights out of England, Wales, height 5'3", and a reach of 5'8", or not 5'8", 58.5. Did I even say Kay Hansen was 6'3"? I mean, I meant to say, if I did say that, but I meant to say reach of 63. But yeah, Kay Hansen's coming off a win over Frey, and her most recent loss was to Magdalena Sarmov. And then Cory, her most recent one was against Vanessa Demopleus, and her most recent loss was to Mikoli De Sangli. I think that's how you say that cat's name. Cory, she's a good grappler. She goes for takedowns, and she tries to get her submissions. Kay Hansen, I think, is just a more well-rounded fighter. I know she's done a lot of amateur boxing. I know she looks like she has a really good jiu-jitsu game. She does a lot of feints. When she fought Jiu Frey, I thought her feint game was so good, and I think she's just gonna outclass Cory. I think she takes it by what do I have? By decision. I'm going by decision. I think Kay takes it by decision. I think her boxing and her takedown defense will get her this win. Next one up, the GOATs, Louis Smolka versus Jose Alberto Quinonez. I think that's how you say his name. Quinonez. Lewis comes in 16-7. Fights out of Hawaii. Age 29. Height 5'9" and reaches 68. Jose's at 8-4. Fights out of San Diego. Age 30. Height 5'8" and reaches 69. Lewis's his most recent win was against Ryan McDonald, and his most recent loss was a beating against Casey Kenny. Jose's most recent win was against Sean O'Malley. No, not Sean O'Malley. That's what I'm talking about. Carlos Huchin. And his most recent loss was to Sean O'Malley. Oh, my God. Almost thought this guy was Marlon Bear. But this fight, I was like, man, Lewis Smolka better win, bro. I don't care. I don't care what the excuse is. Lewis Smolka, you better win this fight. They're both coming off not the best losses. I don't think any loss is good, but man, Casey Kenny put it on Lewis Smolka, and fucking Sean O'Malley, man, he put it on Jose. So, Lewis a while back had a lot of hype on him, and people thought he was going to be like really, really good. And I wouldn't say he's failed expectations or whatever. I just think, it just hasn't gone his way. But I think this is an easier fight for him. I think Lewis might be better than him all around. I think Lewis's striking, his movement, his distance management might be better than him. I think he could take him down. So I get it then. I think Lewis Smolka is probably I'll take that by decision. I know I'm going with a lot of decisions, but yeah, I'm gonna go with decision. Next fight, Antonio Arroyo versus Eryk Anders. Antonio comes in 9-3, fights out of Brazil, age 31, height 6'3", and reaches 73.5. Eryk is 13-5, fights out of Alabama, age 33, height 6'1", and reaches 75. Antonio's most recent win was against Steven Regiment, and his most recent loss was to Andre Munez. Eryk Anders' most recent win was against Gerald Mishart, and his most recent loss was to Christoph Jocko. Eryk has always been, hit or miss, but, he's a guy that, I don't want to say he was the Greg Hardy 1.0, but he was a guy that they really pushed, man. He had the football background. He was the athlete, right? So they pushed him. They gave him the fight night main event against Lyoto Machida. They gave him another fight night main event. I guess it was short notice, but they gave him a fight night main event against Thiago Santos. He's had a lot of opportunities to succeed. He's had some rough losses, like the one against Khalil Rountree was not the best. But I think, he's going to fight another guy that's kind of similar to him. Antonio Rose, you look at him, man, he's solid, bro. He is built from stone. But he's kind of like a younger Eryk, he's a big athlete. He has a lot of power, and he gets a lot of quick finishes. I think Eric's seasoned. I think, his wrestling has got a lot better. I think he can take this by decision. Antonio has a good jiu-jitsu game. I'll give him that. Or decent jiu-jitsu game. He has something there where he could pose a threat to Eryk. But I think Anders should get this done. I think he should get this done in the distance. That's how most of his fights been going lately. He could knock him out. I could see that. Antonio does go for it. But I'm going to go Anders by decision. I think that's a good pick. Next fight. Abdul Razak Hassan versus Khaos Williams. Abdul comes in 10-2. Fights out of Arlington, Texas. Age 35, height 5'10", and reaches 72. Williams is 10-1. Fights out of Detroit, Michigan. Age 26, height 6 foot, and reaches 77. Abdul's most recent win was against Nico Price. Man, that was 3 years ago? That was Darren Till versus Woodley. UFC 228, that card. His most recent loss was to Minor Lazez. That happened this summer. Williams' most recent win was against Alex Morono, who's also fighting on this card. And his most recent loss was to Dan Yates in 2018. These guys are a lot similar. Their records are pretty similar too. But Abdul has fought better competition, I'll say. He's fighting what's his name? Amari Makhachev. I think that's how you say the guy's name. The one that fought Weidman. He fought him. He took an L to him, and he has a win over Nico Price, who I think is he's a borderline ranked fighter. I think he can get there, and he took his ass out. A lot of guys, they can't say that. Even Jeff Neal couldn't do that to Nico Price. So Abdul he's a problem. I think he's fought a little, better competition. Williams is a little similar to him. I feel like it's almost like similar to the Anders Antonio matchup. I think they're similar, but Abdul's coming off that. I honestly feel like he was really rusty against Lazez, and even though Manor looked amazing, I just saw a guy that he got tired. Now Williams can win this fight. There is a path to beating Abdul. If he uses wrestling and gets his takedowns, right? He could probably, or basically, if he doesn't get hit with the power, kind of wait it out, and you basically do what Amari did to Abdul back in the day. So if he can do that and put it on him, he could probably win. But I think he's not gonna do that. I think he's just gonna go straight for it, and I think Abdul's gonna humble him, and I think he's gonna knock him out. Man, that guy is a serious knockout artist. He knocked out that one dude, Hamasi, right? The one that got the flying knee in Bellator. So Abdul is a problem, man, at welterweight. So I think he gets this done by first round KO. But Williams, I still think he has a promising career though. Next up, the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Rafael dos Anjos. I have a breakdown video on that. Go check that out. But I'm gonna make this short. I'm going Makhachev by decision. I think Makhachev has the abilities that a Colby Covington has, that Usman, that can put that pressure on dos Anjos. That we've just seen that, and dos Anjos, he's a lot older, and he's going back down to 155. That doesn't look like the best message. Obviously, I will say one thing about dos Anjos. Every time I've counted him out, he's kind of proven me wrong. When I really said he was done. After Usman destroyed him, I was like, man, I think he's done. And then he fights Kevin Lee, and he beats Kevin Lee. So it's like, he has something in the tank. But, losing to Michael Kessler like that, obviously, it was a 3-round fight. So I feel like if he had 2 extra rounds, maybe he could have done something on that card. On that fight. But, yeah, I think I think Islam, he puts the pressure on him. Islam has decent striking. I think, he has decent defense of his hands, and he keeps his hands up. He's been knocked out before. That has happened to him. So that is something to think about. But I think Islam can get it done. I think he just follows the game plan that Colby and Usman did and just put it on. Even Leon Edwards, they all just put it on him, and they just did not stop, right? And if you just, don't let dos Anjos get a rhythm, right? But I will say one thing about dos Anjos, and this is the last thing. One good point for dos Anjos. He is a different fighter at 155. At 155, he could really knock people out. At 170, he was more of like a power, I would say not even a power, just a volume guy with really good jiu-jitsu, right? And we saw with Neil Magny, he was able to get that choke in. You saw with Robbie Lawler, he was able to get his volume in. But he had no power, right, when he fought guys like Colby and Usman. And they were able to, kind of out-volume and out-cardio and out-wrestle him, right? So he couldn't really do anything. So at 155, he might have power. I will say that he might, and he might be able to knock out Islam, but I just think, and Islam is a big guy, so he probably cuts a lot of weight too. But I think Islam, it's an easy game plan for him to follow. I know I've given some good points for RDA just out of respect, but I think I'm pretty confident. I think Islam gets it done. I think Islam's a monster, man. I think he's gonna represent AK really well. I think he's gonna get this done. But yeah, that's it for me, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I kind of got this a little late, so if it's not the best in the best, I'm sorry about it. I've been kind of busy, but I was able to get this done. It's like freaking 12 o'clock at night right now, so hope you guys enjoy this. But yeah, go follow my Twitter, my Instagram, and eBay predictions out. Love y'all, and goodbye.